Hi there, and welcome back to another edition of ScaleUp Radio, the podcast inspired by the Entrepreneurial ScaleUp System and designed to make navigating our scale-up journeys that little bit easier by learning from others' experiences. I'm Kevin Brent, and in this Q&A episode of ScaleUp Radio, which was recorded during our monthly ScaleUp Club meeting, we sit down with Mike Dunn of ScaleUp Group. And Mike is a leader in the construction telemarketing sector. And I interviewed him about a year ago, back in June of 2023. And we invited him back to see what's changed and explore his views on getting a marketing ROI. And Mike shares their innovative approach to delivering quality leads and ROI, focusing on understanding client goals and prioritizing quality over quantity. And we'll explore their successful marketing initiatives, including hosting their own construction show and leveraging LinkedIn. Mike also discusses the importance of staff retention and creating a positive office environment. Plus, we hear how his wife and business partner keeps marketing spend aligned and with an achievable return on investment. So make sure you don't miss any future episodes by subscribing to ScaleUp Radio wherever you like to listen to your podcast. You can also nominate a guest for ScaleUp Radio if you know someone with an interesting story, and you can find out how in the show notes below. For now, tune in for valuable insights and tips from Mike Dunn of ScaleUp Group. Yeah, so tell us about the business a little bit, and maybe what's changed since we spoke almost a year ago.
Well, yeah, I suppose really the best thing to do is start from the beginning. For those of you who don't know who I am, I set the company up January 2020, kind of in my back bedroom. As you can imagine, 2020 wasn't the best year for businesses. So setting up a company just before a global pandemic isn't something you really write into a business plan. So I set the company up. Obviously, by March, the whole world, if you like, had gone into lockdown. But the reason I set it up was because I wanted to provide a quality level of service in telemarketing. And I know telemarketing has got it raises a few eyebrows when people hear it. A lot of people get the vision of people being called while watching the chase at home or trying to be sold insurance. And I wanted to kind of break down the walls with that. I'm from a family of builders, and I've worked in construction pretty much all my life in different areas, from lead generation to telemarketing, but also live on site. So I've worked across all sectors. And I had a bad bill of health in 2019 when I was in hospital. And I just figured, you know what, if I don't do it now and start supporting my family, when am I ever going to do it? So January 2020, set the company up, like I say, at home. March came around, and even though we had a couple of clients on board, them clients typically just sit around and said, we don't know when we're going to come out of this situation, so we can't work with you. So I made the decision there and then. I offered 2 of the 3 clients. I said, look, I'll work completely free of charge. Don't pay me. I understand you can't. But at the end of it, if I can generate you some positive ROI, some results that are tangible, consider either staying with Excel, or if it doesn't work out, because let's be honest, no one really knew how it was going to end or when it was, would you consider offering me a job? Both of them clients are still with us to this day. And if you fast forward from January 2020 to now, there's a team of 21 of us in our own. We just moved into our brand new offices over at Chester Business Park. And we've got 2 or 3 other subsidiary companies alongside. And I think one of the big reasons behind the growth, the ups and downs of Excel, is because we only work in one sector, which is construction and the built environment. Our key target and our key focus is to deliver quality over quantity, but also, more importantly, ROI to our clients. Okay. And obviously, as someone who's been in sales all my life, I understand the principle of, if you gave me a £5, you would want a £10 back. That's how I see sales, and that's how I measure ROI in any sense.
Right. So how do you get your clients to think about ROI?
I suppose what we do is, whenever we meet a new client, we don't just jump in and say, right, we're going to start calling. We have to understand what is a tangible result to them. What are they looking to achieve from using a company like ScaleUp Group? Is it they want to be in front of architects? Do they want to be live on site? Do they want to be meeting with social housing? What's the sort of value of a project they want to get involved with? Is it because they want to get spec'd? Is it because they want to deliver a CPD? And it's really understanding what's important to them. And I always stress this to a new client. We're never, ever going to guarantee you an X number of results, because I think once you start guaranteeing people numbers, especially in sales, it can become quite dangerous. Now, I back the ability of ScaleUp Group. But I always say our job is to guarantee you quality and transparency from the off, not to be guaranteeing you numbers that might not be achievable, because, let's be honest, you can't guarantee anything. It's meant to be in the summertime now, and you couldn't guarantee me a month ago it was going to be cracking the flags every day in July. So I always try to understand, what are they looking to achieve from ourselves? Is it brand exposure? Is it product launch? Is it to get into a new market? And from there, understand what is important to them from an ROI standpoint.
Okay, brilliant. And what from your own marketing, how do you allocate your marketing spend and focus?
Yeah, so we go to a lot of exhibitions. There's a lot of shows all over the place. We are partners with a show called Future Build, which is down in London. We have a stand there. Well, we tend to look at shows which are relevant to ourselves. And obviously, I don't know how many of the guests here today understand about Part L, Part Z. There's a massive push at the moment in the government for Part L and Part Z within buildings. And a lot of construction wants to be net zero by, I think it's 2050. And they keep pushing it back, but I think they've said that's it. So what I said was 2 to 3 years ago was we need to start looking at businesses that are on that Part L, Part Z journey, because when the time comes, we want to be ahead of the curve and we need to learn that. So when we go to a show now, we look at businesses that are going to be going to shows, or shows that are sort of relevant to that message within construction. So you could go to a different show every week, but it might not be relevant. So we really drill down on what suppliers, what shows are relevant to us, which shows are going to be, or which shows are going to have clients that we may already be working with, where can we get involved with panel discussions. And the marketing budget we draw down from there is kind of falls in line with what we want from an ROI. So we understand how much the stand may cost versus hotels, and how much it would take for us to see a positive return on investment from going to a show.
And do you look for do you have a particular return that you're looking for? Do you calculate that in a particular way as to how, as you mentioned earlier, if you spend a $5, you expect a $10 back, but what do you have any specific metrics around that?
Yeah, so obviously I've got a business development team. I've got 2 business development managers here, and they're targeted bringing on so many clients. So I know by taking them out of the business, it's going to cost the business so much money, and it might also detriment their chance to be on meetings. So we always look to bring back 1, 2 new clients from a show, because we know that isn't just one client is a little bit of ROI, but 2 is it covers their heads, but also the outlay of fuel, hotels, everything else that comes with it. So we always aim for 1 or 2 new clients from any sort of exhibition show we go to. But people have already, the way we see it is, if you're at a show and you're paying to exhibit, then a lot of your marketing budget has already gone into that, because some of these stands are hundreds of thousands of pounds. They're big and they've got loads going on. So we know that ROI might come 3-6 months down the line. And we've recently just had a client who signed up with XLTM, but we met them last year. And the reason they've signed up with us is because they don't want to spend the money again on a stand, because they've had no ROI from it. Because a lot of people come over, show their business cards, they don't either go get time to follow up, or they've come over for the free pens or the free stress balls. So we're more of an proactive marketing tool. So sometimes it's just good to go to these shows and have a chat with how much they've spent on the stand, and what do they normally get back from it? Is it worth their time? And if so, how can we be of assistance to boost the sales from that?
Okay. And what other things do you have in your marketing budget? What other activities do you find work for you?
We have our own. So we launched the Northwest Construction Show in February at Chester Football Club at their ground. That was the first one done. And we had a budget for how much that was going to spend, how much we were going to spend on that. We did receive a positive ROI from that, because once again, we looked at a lot of these other shows that are going on, and we said, well, how do we make the footfall quality over quantity? We don't necessarily want thousands of people through the door, but what we do want is people to come through the door who are actively looking to speak to our clients or the people that are paying for stands. We do a lot on LinkedIn. We do a lot of marketing on LinkedIn as well. But with regards to sort of paper marketing, leaflets, we because we are in line with Future Build and net zero ourselves, we've knocked all that on the head. And we've recently taken on a girl who's looking to become our marketing manager as well.
Do you have a particular ratio of spend to your turnover or anything like that you look to spend on marketing and sales?
Yeah, well, look, I'll be completely honest with you and everyone else in the chat. I'm a salesman through and through. Okay, so keeping my eye on numbers, etc., hasn't always been my strong point. So my wife joined the business January 23. And I'll say this because I know she's going to be listening, but she took a lot of plates off me and she kept me under control, because if it was me, I'd have a blip that would be in the sky of XLTM Group. My ADHD makes me want to do crazy things when it comes to marketing. So Sean, my wife, who's the managing director here now, she looks at the marketing spend with our sales director. She tells me what if this is achievable, because I'm not just saying it. I would literally I'd go crazy with marketing if I could. So she reins me in.
All right.
Brilliant. So I look at what we've done each quarter to what's coming up. Hope that answers that question right anyway.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Well, I think I've had my fun in asking you questions. I think we need to throw it open to the floor now. Granger, if you could coordinate this would be brilliant. I know we've got a lot of people here that have got an interest in marketing. Some actually run businesses that are to do with marketing, and I think all of us here are interested in being able to get to the point where we get a really good return on our investment. So I can't believe that there are no questions. So let's see, Granger.
For me, Mike, you talked about shows, you've talked about marketing, and balancing, spend versus return. What's been your business's, as in your business growth, key success factor so far in marketing, do you think?
I think one of the biggest things for us, marketing XLTM Group as a whole, was last year we launched the UK's first ever construction telemarketing CPD, and I'm not sure how au fait everyone is with CPDs, continuous professional development, but in construction, they're absolutely huge. And when we launched that, it kind of got into the minds of a lot of our clients. But that marketing, I'll be completely honest, it didn't cost us a lot to build it because we built the CPD ourselves. The only thing we had to do was obviously we traveled up and down the country non-stop presenting this CPD. And I think we did it to over 70 or 80 different businesses. So obviously the marketing spend on that was hotels. Openly and honestly, we made that back because we converted a lot of the people we met with, and that's been a huge factor. The wake-up call for me was that you haven't got to spend an incredible amount of money to sell your services. We kind of wanted to do something and show people that we understood, that we get what our clients are trying to achieve. So our CPD campaigns are massive for us. They're absolutely huge. Right. So if we're good at something, then do it ourselves. If we're booking our clients sometimes 30, 40 CPDs a month, why are we doing that with XLTM Group? That's probably the best piece of marketing we ever did in all honesty.
Excellent. So some questions from Emma. So what's your most return on investment marketing area at the moment? Is it online, cold calls, Google, advertising? What's your best one?
I'd say we get a lot of our business through LinkedIn. We're very active on LinkedIn. I've got quite a large network on there. We do have a business development executive that phones a lot of clients in our database. We work with lead providers such as, Glenigan and MBS and that. So a lot of our clients tend to know us as a construction specific telemarketing provider, which helps because we've got that one market in. People can type in construction telemarketing and Excel are normally there. So we get a lot from Google. We never used to, being honest, but Google's become quite a powerful tool for us. But yeah, LinkedIn's probably our biggest source of ROI, to be honest.
Thank you. From Peter, he asks, what tools do you use, technology, for marketing?
Peter, I'll be completely honest with you. We're still in our youth. We're only 4.5 years old. So we've started using obviously LinkedIn Sales Navigator, LinkedIn, the LinkedIn sales ads and marketing tools, things like that. And we look at how much our spend is against clicks and if it's been worth it. I hope that answers the question.
Do you have a CRM?
We've got a CRM called Set CRM, which has probably served this purpose for the last couple of years. We are converting to another CRM called Bactella, that's going to basically track all of our online people visiting the site, people who are clicking through, people who are submitting forms. We've got a tool on our website called Build My Campaign. When we launched that was quite a unique tool where people can actually tell us what they want before they speak to us. That's been hugely successful.
Excellent, thank you. And a question from Grant. Is it naive to simply measure return on investment in terms of sales numbers? As mentioned, you talked about trade shows can be months or years before you get any return on investment. So is there any numeric return on investment that you consider?
Yeah, 100%. I might sound cheesy this, but I see return on investment as well is not just the sales numbers, but also retention, and that comes from our staff. We've got to measure, ROI on staff numbers. How many staff are leaving us, and if so, why? We always do exit interviews. Are we listening to the staff's ideas to keep morale high in the office? Are we listening to their ideas to bring new clients in? And I said that I'd rather have 10 clients doing a large volume of us than a large volume of clients doing less of us. But we only do that by our team performing. And obviously sales and telemarketing, it can be quite monotonous. And I don't think anyone leaves school thinking I want to be a telemarketer. Let's be honest about it, because it's not the message. I didn't leave school thinking I want to be a telemarketer. I wanted to work at Airbus with my dad. I just fell into this because I realized I was okay at it, and then I became better. And I'll be as honest as the day is long. So another massive ROI factor for us is measuring our team's happiness in the office. And we sit down with every single member of our team once a month, not just for one-to-ones, but we do a scale of, what can we implement? Is there something we can do to help? Have you got any ideas on campaigns? And I think that's another way to measure ROI and retention, because retention only comes from existing clients. If someone's bashing the phones all day and getting nothing from it, what's the point?
I hope you enjoyed that discussion, and if you're building and scaling your own business, you might well be interested in our book, The Entrepreneurial ScaleUp System. And it's exactly what it says on the tin. It's a practical handbook around scaling a business in a structured way. And you can order a copy on all your favorite online retailers, including an audio version, or you can find it and other supporting resources on our website, www.esusgroup.co.uk. That's esusgroup.co.uk, which is esusgroup.co.uk.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.